guest at Pressure Points with your two dick boys in the business. I'm D, this is AJ. We're hitting you a Season 4, Episode 2. John Palmer and the Dirty Dick Boys. Find us on Instagram and le Twitter at Points O Pressure. Let's go.
Jesus. Well,
I don't know where. I mean,
it works. It works.
Point,
all right.
Just fuck it. I'm
Let's
running out of titles.
Crack open a cold one with the boys.
That's a Coke Zero. That's weak shit.
Oh, fuck off.
I exposed you. You phony.
I love Diet Coke and Coke Zero.
Phony. Oh man, welcome back. It is another fantastic fucking Monday.
I forgot what day it was going to be.
It's always a Monday, man.
It's always a Monday.
It's always a Monday. Not
that's
for
a great
us,
metaphor
but
for
it's
my
a
life.
Monday for you.
Welcome to another shitty week in this capitalist
another
hellscape.
Garbage
We
show.
hope to help, but we will probably not.
Give it another week. We'll be set.
Oh, yeah. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Dick Turpin.
Dick Turpin.
Also known as Richard Turpin, also known as John Palmer. And I'm sure he had other aliases, but I didn't give a shit enough to know what it means. I can feel my nose hairs. That is awful.
How high are you right now?
Not enough.
Not
I'm gonna
high
sneeze.
enough. Just, Jesus.
All right. Now that that's done, totally only peaked a little bit. And so Dick Turpin was born in the Bluebell Inn in Essex and was baptized in 1705.
Ooh, we're going old school here.
Oh, yeah, this is an old one.
What do you mean? AJ doesn't have some fucking 1940s Nazi regime shit for
This
me today?
isn't... Yeah, you're right. You know what? I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. Mark your calendars, boys and girls. It is a day to remember.
It's the day hell froze over.
Happy Martin Luther King Day, by the way.
Is it Martin Luther King Day?
It is, yeah. I think. Fuck if I know. I should look it up.
I probably work it.
Yeah,
You're not trash.
I
Let's
won't.
just say it's Martin Luther King Day. Yeah, because you don't work. All right. So we're going to be derailed so quickly. So his father was a butcher and an innkeeper. His mother didn't do anything. That's fine. He was apprenticed as a butcher.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Imagine going to an inn. Obviously, this is 1700s. They didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But now, going to an inn, and you're renting a room, and the guy that comes up and he's all, hey, how many people you got? What kind of room you need? But he's wearing an apron covered in blood.
Yes, and you hear screaming in the background because his wife is giving birth.
And you're like, what the fuck am I signing up for?
You know what? That really sets the mood. I thank you.
You're welcome.
You're right. I needed some mood setting.
Jesus.
I tried to jump into it too quick.
And he's just got a fucking bloody axe that is like a little bloody hatchet. Yeah.
A bunch of cleavers on his belt.
God, dude. 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Would stay at this motel again. Imagine the Yelp reviews.
Oh, my God. That would be fantastic.
Beautiful place. But upon entering, it was a little uncomfortable.
5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. Don't give him that extra star. Next
right.
time, wash your hands, Dick Stat.
Before you shake my hand.
Before you hand me the keys.
So not a lot was known about kind of his childhood. Everything was kind of figured out through records because the church took great records at the time. He eventually apprenticed at a nearby town as a butcher. His dad didn't teach him. Somebody else did.
It's because his dad had some serious secrets to hold.
Yeah. He and the other brother.
Don't go into room 13.
No, it's probably because he was 5 of 6 children. He was the 5th of 6 children.
Yeah. His dad didn't give a fuck about
No,
him.
didn't have enough time.
If you're not the oldest or the youngest in that family, shit out of luck.
Oh, yeah. And I'm glad that has stayed the same since then.
God, it hasn't changed.
No, not at all. Past 300 years. So, yeah, he got married eventually. He was probably in his late teens, early 20s when he got married to Elizabeth Millington in 1725.
Ooh, Elizabeth Millington.
Yes, it's a very regal name.
Yes.
They were dirt poor, but he opened his own butcher shop pretty soon after that. He finished his apprenticeship. So they were doing pretty well. Like, being a butcher back in those days, that's not bad.
I was going to say, it sounds like he learned from his dad to not, mix inn plus butcher shop. So,
yeah.
Good job, Dick.
Well,
so
for now.
far, I'm impressed.
In the early 1730s, Dick became involved with the Essex Gang.
Fill me in.
They basically, at the time, this was when you couldn't hunt for deer, like, in the forest around your village.
Oh,
It's
what?
the king's land or the duke's land.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Kind of thing. So this gang would just poach a shitload of deer. There were even laws about covering your face while in the forest.
God, even
you
in the
couldn't do that.
1700s, they'd wear masks. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, they were okay with it.
It's because they had more oxygen back then.
And they were also nicer to their people in the service industry.
Oh,
Still 4 out of
Jesus.
5 stars with a dude covered in blood with screaming going on.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, baby.
Yeah. It was a better time.
Simpler time.
So basically, the gang needed a contact to dispose of the deer. They're like, shit, we killed this deer. If we walk into town with a full deer, we're going to be arrested. So we got to have somebody who like knows their way around chopping up bodies. And somehow they tied it together. Butcher.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they brought him on so that he could butcher animals out in the field right after they get it. And then
they could
get
smuggle it or
They would
sell it.
I just imagine them saran wrapping their bodies, like in Wolf of Wall Street, but they're packing like just deer cuts inside.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Put on your
Cutlass.
shotgun jacket. Let's go.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they did. So he helped them a long time. Again, this was so long ago. It's kind of hard to get a lot of the details, especially when you're separating a lot of the information that came later.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it was made up. But
What
yeah,
do you mean we don't have accurate historical records?
We'll get into that. So yeah, he was a great butcher, and they just kept doing that for a couple of years. He would help them just butcher up a bunch of animals, made a bit of money, until 1733 when he left the butchery trade and became a landlord of a public house.
Oh, so he did learn from his father.
He did, but he stopped butchering.
Yeah, well, at least
they didn't
he's
mix.
appeasing to dad. He's
Oh, yeah.
trying to get noticed as the second to youngest.
Well, you know,
Heads up.
the
Your
reason he
dad's-
left the
your
butcher
dad still
trade
doesn't give a fuck about you.
and became the landlord of a public house was so that he could work more with the gang.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's tit for tat.
Yeah,
you were
so
almost on the right track.
Almost. Starting in 1734, a bunch of the gang had either fled or they'd been captured. So the gang pretty much just traded and stopped poaching and just started robbing people's homes. It was just easier.
I was going to say they just eliminated the process.
Exactly. They barbarously cut a manservant's face. I imagine it was like the Joker. Because the owner of the house wasn't home, so they couldn't tell him where he had hid his money.
Want to know? I got these scars.
But basically, they would go in and beat the shit out of people,
Jesus.
and then walk away with like $20.
I'd imagine this group comes up to just rob your house. Oh, pinky out. Good little sip there. This group comes to rob your house, and you're like, oh, okay, just take whatever you want. They start beating the shit out of you. You're like, please stop. And they're like, if we stop, we have a butcher on hand. So it's either you get your ass kicked or you get fucking butchered. No, just take everything.
Just take it all.
Yeah, God, terrible.
So, they basically did a string of house robberies at this point. They were really flying under the radar because they had just been basically spending all their time in the woods cutting up deer and then selling it. Like, oh, and at this point, there's information on, like, who the different gang members were and stuff like that. I don't care about any of that, except for Dick Turpin and Mary, which I don't even remember her last name. She was the fence. So, like, anytime they would steal stuff, they would go to her to sell it.
Oh, okay. So these were the Dirty Dick Boys.
Oh, yeah. These were the Dirty Dick Boys. Even though it was also called the Gregory Gang because it was started by a dude whose last name was Gregory.
Man, fuck Gregory.
You're
No
right.
one
This
cares
is Dick
about
Turpin's.
Gregory.
Dick Turpin's game.
In my book, Gregory's a bitch.
Oh, yeah, pretty
His
much.
ghost is coming.
Oh, yeah.
I can feel it already.
That's fine. So, in about 1735, they had planned to knock off this old farmer. This old bitch. He's basically retired.
Ye old farmer bitch.
So, on the way, they stopped twice for food.
Okay.
Solid. That's how you rob a place.
I was going to say, we stop twice for food after every recording.
Oh, yeah.
So
You know what?
I
That
don't
is
blame
true.
them.
That's totally true. It burns about the same amount of calories.
Being in this spicy boy room
Yeah.
burned a lot of calories.
So they show up, and outside is a young shepherd boy. So they grab him, throw him into the house. They tie up two of the maids who are in there, and they find the farmer. And Dick Turpin, masked up, goes up and is like, give me your fucking money.
Yeah.
They start beating him. He starts beating him with the pistols.
Oh.
Like with the butt of the pistol.
Yeah. Goddamn.
He's not giving it up. They start beating up the shepherd boy.
By the way, these aren't like 9mm pistols. We're talking a fucking like
A flintlock.
Flintlock fucking gunpowder loaded pistol.
It's basically a 2x4 with a barrel on it.
Yeah, 2x4 that's partially fucking lead. You're just getting the shit kicked out of you with this thing. Ooh, god damn.
It's a good one.
It's like, that's like getting beat up with a sawed-off shotgun, essentially.
Yeah.
You're basically getting your ass kicked with a sawed-off shotgun. Fuck.
Just wait.
Oh.
Because the farmer wouldn't give up where he had hidden his money,
Oh, no.
they pulled the farmer's pants down.
No.
And Dick pulls out the pistol
Oh, no.
and paddles his buttocks. Just beats his ass, literally.
Excuse me. Contractually speaking, you should have used the word tookish.
Sorry, Tookus. The J in HA stands for Jewish.
Jewish.
Apparently. I didn't know. But, yeah, beat his Tookus. And he's like until it's bruising in front of them. Like it's instantly
He's
bruising.
giving him an old-fashioned spanking.
Yeah. He still doesn't say where his money is, so they make him sit down on the fire, bare-assed.
Bare freshly
Tookus.
beat ass.
Yeah. Tenderized Tookus. And then he still didn't do it. They poured a hot water kettle over his head.
Oh my god!
And then beat the shit out of his head with pistols.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, everybody, but what the fuck?
They waterboarded him essentially
God.
and beat him with a pistol, like
After giving
over the
him
top.
a very vigorous spanking.
and butt burning.
Damn.
Took his roasting.
Good lord.
They at that point, was still with his pants down, pulled him around his house with his nose and hair.
What?
They just grabbed his nose and pulled him around the house.
Oh my god.
Like,
What the fuck is... where is this episode gone so
Right?
suddenly?
Dick Turpin was a dick.
Oh, you don't say. Richard, you bastard.
Oh yeah, and then just kind of as an offhanded remark, I think it was Gregory, one of the gang members, then raped a maid,
Oh, fuck.
and then they made their valiant escape.
Valiant.
$30.
Valiant is not nearly the word that I would fucking use in this,
really?
in this situation.
They're taking back the power from the man.
Yeah. But if I'm being honest, this farmer is the most badass person of this story ever.
Yeah.
If you've had your ass beat to ground meat, that's a good line. And then it
took us.
You took us beat to ground meat, and then roasted on a fucking open fire, and then your face is boiled and you're dragged by your hair, and that's what it takes for you to say where your money... Jesus.
Someone walks up to me, I'd give him $30.
Dude, they punched me like one time in the stomach and I'm already crying, and I've told them my PIN.
And my social.
For fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I'll give you shares to pressure points. Like, for fuck's
Oh, yeah,
sakes.
all the shares.
Like, treat yourself.
Oh, yeah. So
Oh, my God, dude. That's insane.
Yeah, wonderful. $30, by the way.
30
for all
whole big ones. I'm curious how much that is now. This is England, right?
that. Yeah.
What
in
year?
The 1735. Yeah, do that.
30
Run the
pounds.
conversion.
Oh, not 3. All right, keep going.
All right, so 3 days later, they basically did the same thing at a different house. Did you find it?
Working on it.
Okay, so, and at that point, because it was so brutal, the Duke of Newcastle, the Duke, offered a reward for information on their capture. At this point, they weren't really the smartest people at this point.
You don't say.
So a few days later, 3 of the gang members were arrested at an alehouse because, like, one of the maids or servants or something recognized the horses, like, parked outside. It's like identifying the vehicle.
Oh, okay, I was like, they recognized a horse, but...
Yeah, apparently that was a thing. So they were arrested, and they were actually drinking with their fence, Mary, but she didn't get caught. Nobody knows she was even involved.
Mary's a sleuth.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, they made off with almost a little over $6,500.
I mean, that's not bad.
I was gonna say not too shabby.
Not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad.
But I mean, is it worth?
I don't think so.
God damn, Jesus! I'm still just struggling for
it
that
was
farmer.
rough.
Fuck! Wouldn't have made it. It was not. It was not a simpler time. It's a simpler time now.
Yeah.
God.
So they were arrested, and one of them, who was 15, his name was Wheeler, immediately betrayed the rest of the gang. Like, they were active for years, and he just folded immediately. Like, no argument.
Who was it?
Wheeler.
Fucking pussy.
Right?
You want to know? Actually,
If
to
that
be
farmer,
fair,
if they'd...
if I were in that
place.
if I were in that gang, I would be Wheeler.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the authorities come up, I'm like, okay, put me in witness protection. There is no way I'm going through the hell that I know these guys will put me through.
Well, see, at the time, that was a thing. Like, if you betrayed your gang members, you'd basically get immunity.
Yeah.
And it was also a little bit before that, horse theft was a it's a capital offense, punishable by death.
Yeah.
So they didn't, like, that was a serious crime. That's like stealing your neighbor's car and they put you to death.
Jesus Christ.
Like, also, it was just put through fairly recently that if you were convicted of a crime, there's a good chance that instead of being hanged or sent to prison, you would be forced to transport, which is be sent to the 13 colonies.
Oh,
the great
boy.
13 English colonies.
Indentured servants, here we come.
Oh, yeah, and lots of,
shit.
who basically were no better than Australia. And I had heard that to a point they would send over criminals and stuff, but, like, it was widespread.
Jesus
A
Christ.
lot of the colonies were founded by criminals.
If I were Wheeler, I'd be like, lock me up, not because of the crimes I committed, but to protect me from these men.
Oh, yeah. So they kind of went under the radar, and over the next little bit, while they were laying low, the gang would, in small groups, still rob places. And then they started getting picked off. They would either be killed or recognized and then arrested, and the gang just kind of dwindled down, and also got shipped off to the colonies. Years passed, and he just basically lived, moving around, staying in a small group. He started with robbing houses like they would before, and then he realized, it's just easier to stand in the middle of the road and point a gun at somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I don't blame him.
A lot of people, when they would travel, they would obviously be traveling with money, so they could eat along the way or sleep along the way.
Make the money come to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a solid way to go, Dick.
Thought you were talking to me.
Yeah, solid way to go, Dick.
So at this point, the gang basically dissolved over time. They still had contacts within, like, a couple of the people, but basically it was dissolved.
I mean, it makes sense, because each can just go stand in the middle of any highway, point a gun, and then they don't have to share their earnings with anybody.
Mm-hmm. And it was just more dangerous, because if they were in groups of 3, they're more
have a
likely
Wheeler.
to be... Yeah, or you were more likely to be recognized.
Yeah.
So at this point, he went solo. This is the solo career.
Oh, shit. Dick gone solo.
Oh, yeah. He began to be known as Turpin the Butcher. I like to call him Dick Butcher.
Butcher Dick.
And he kind of went back to the basics. He went back to his roots, which is highway robbery. That's kind of where he started off
I was worried. I was worried where this was going to go. I was like, he went back to just beating people to a pulp with a gun.
No.
And then lighting them aflame.
I mean, maybe. He did do that a bit, but out of all the highwaymen from his original group, he was the most successful. He would keep his head down. He would move around a lot. He was never caught without a mask on when he was committing the crimes. A lot of people were stupid.
Wish I could say the same for Americans.
Ah, Jesus. Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't have been caught if they wore masks in crimes,
It feels a little too familiar.
It really does.
The FBI will come after you, I hear.
I don't know. No, they wouldn't come after you. It's just Antifa.
Jesus. Yeah, right. Oh,
all right, yeah, so...
Back on
back
topic.
to Dick Butcher. All right, where was I? All right, yeah. So he would basically hide out in the woods to live, occasionally going into town to fence the stuff that he stole and buy supplies, and then he would live in the woods, and then he would rob highways. Like, he would basically scope it out. He was super smart about it. for the most part.
I mean, because he can feed himself. He was in the
Yeah.
woods. He knows how
It
to
was
butcher
easier
an
to feed
animal.
one person than a whole gang, and he was a butcher. Like, he knows his shit.
He knows how to cook somebody. Or an animal.
An animal. He's not Scottish. There's no medieval Scottish meats in this one.
Weak.
Sorry. I can't do too many cannibal stories.
Yeah, that's true. We gotta space him out a little bit.
So years went by and he kept doing this stuff, and eventually he was kind of ambushed. I imagine it was more like one person hiding from the other person and the other person hiding, and they startle each other.
Yeah.
So Thomas Morris was a servant of the forest keeper over the forest that he was basically squatting in.
Man, anybody named Thomas, they're always trouble.
It's true. Assholes.
Dicks.
Complete trash.
We don't mean it to most Thomases.
But I think we're thinking of the same Thomas.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
Not the Thomas that might think that we're referring to him, but if you're the Thomas that we're talking about, you know who you are, bitch.
So he stumbled he stumbled upon Turpin in his camp. Turpin said, "Oh," and shot him. Fucking killed him.
Shit.
At this point, he hadn't, I don't think, murdered anybody in cold blood.
Oh, shit.
Before, so...
He just put them within right at the edge of life. But now he's taking it.
Yeah, now he went too far.
Dick's
and
got his
basically
vest.
what happened is the story started to circulate in all the newspapers. Dick Turpin, highwayman, robber, now murderer.
Oh, the name's out.
Yep, they would put his description in, and the Duke put out a 200-pound bounty on his head. Figure out what that is in today's money.
Uh-oh, what
200
year?
pounds, 1737? I don't remember. Just somewhere around there.
How much?
200 pounds.
All right.
So it was just being circulated, and now he's worth something.
The sad thing is that, the bounty placed on his head, exponentially more. Well, not exponentially, but it's a lot more. 44,600 pounds.
God damn.
Yeah.
Keep that open, because there's some other ones later.
I got it.
So,
Jesus.
yeah, that's a fuck ton of money. Holy shit. So, at this point, he was like, fuck, I'm fucked. He jumps on a ferry and changes his name to John Palmer.
Nice. Not to be confused with Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
Just to clarify.
I know that's going to be a common mistake.
It's going to be
confusion. They both invented great drinks.
Yeah, and they both beat the shit out of people regularly.
And their wives.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true about Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, fuck it, whatever. You heard it here first.
Breaking
the expose of Arnold Palmer.
Damn, we do more investigation than OAN.
Well,
yeah. They,
we've also got more fake news in our fucking
that's
podcast than OAN.
I'd say it's about the same.
Yeah, we're pretty level.
Yeah.
I would say more embellishment.
Yes, embellishment is definitely the better word. I just scrolled and my mouse wheel's stupid. Okay, so he posed as a horse trader, and he kind of made a little life for himself. He would sell horses that he stole. So he didn't turn his life around completely, because he was a horse trader.
He's gone
but it's stolen goods.
Like a 75. He's a 75 degrees. He's almost there.
Almost there, but not quite.
Yeah.
He got to know a lot of people in the area, and he would go hunting with the other gentlemen. Legally hunting for the first time in his life.
And not human hunting this time.
And not
Good
human
job, Dick.
hunting, yeah.
It's kind of on the right track.
Until, walking down Main Street, he shoots a chicken.
Why? You don't even do that in Skyrim. What the fuck are you thinking, Dick?
Nobody knows. Basically, the person who owned the chicken got fucking pissed off at him, and a whole bunch of stuff happened, and he threatened to shoot the guy who owned the chicken for hassling him about shooting his chicken. He eventually gets arrested.
Dick's a hothead. I've just determined this.
Yeah.
Dick has some anger issues.
A little bit. But at this point, he was more sad, we think.
Oh, honestly, he was probably drunk.
Probably. Everybody was drunk 24/7 at that
drinking away his
time.
worries. Everybody hated life back then. But you don't shoot a chicken in the middle of the street.
Right?
Whole
Fucking
town's
asshole.
going to come after you.
Yeah, I played Skyrim.
Yeah, Jesus. I played any game with animals in town.
He was basically arrested. He was given multiple chances that he could have escaped, and he didn't. And a lot of people a lot of historians suspect that at this point he was depressed. And he had been known to talk about his failures in life. Because at this point he was kind of like a down and out dude.
Poor Dick.
After being at the top of the Highwayman.
After just being on cloud 9. Killing and robbing. Man,
oh, yeah.
It doesn't get better than that. Poor Dick. Poor guy.
Poor dude.
Yeah.
So he was eventually tried for stealing horses, like one of the horses that he was selling.
Shooting chickens.
One of the people who he stole the horses from recognized them.
Uh-oh.
As when he was in prison from his stable. I was like, those are my fucking horses. Look at this brand right here. It's mine. What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
And other people came forward and like, no, that's my fucking horse. And at the time, other people were being investigated because they were being approached with horses. The fresh horse that they just bought.
Fresh
people,
off the grill.
And people were saying, no, that's mine. That's my horse. Like, who did you buy this from?
Oh,
so it all kind of collapsed right then.
Dick. When it rains, it pours, Dick.
When it rains, Dick, it pours, Dick.
Man, too many dick jokes in this episode.
I know. And they're not even good ones.
No, it's just played out at this point. Get over it, D.
He committed. He also was still robbing people occasionally under the name John Palmer.
God damn it.
It's like Dick Turpin. I mean, John Palmer's the name. Don't forget about it.
Don't tell anyone either.
Yeah, so while he was waiting to be tried, he sent a letter to his brother-in-law who refused to pay the postage because he said that he didn't know anybody in that area who had sent him the letter. It's suspected, though, that he just didn't want to be involved with Dick Turpin's shit.
What?
It's like, I'm done.
Kind of terrible family member. Brother-in-law, you said?
Brother-in-law.
God, probably took after his mother-in-law.
Right. Right, fellas?
Boomer jokes.
Ugh. Please don't do that. That's not going to be a staple of this podcast. It was sent back to the post office, and it was basically held in the post office until one James Smith found it. And he looked at it and he's like, hey, I know this writing.
Uh-oh.
This is Dick Turpin's writing.
Uh-oh.
I taught him how to write.
Oh.
It was his teacher.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So he goes to the prison and goes to the cell and says, you're Dick Turpin. And the guard says, here's the bounty.
Oh.
And he gets out of there. He identifies him and leaves.
Fuck yeah. He's just like, hey, I was coming to see an old friend.
Mm-hmm.
This is Dick Turpin. And they're like, no, it's not. He's like, trust me, it's Dick Turpin. They're like, oh my God.
Here you go.
How much? So
it was 200. It was the bounty.
Oh, Jesus. Imagine that. You recognize somebody's handwriting, and next thing you know, you've walked away with almost $45,000.
God damn. I want that.
Sweet Jeebus.
Let's see. So, yeah, it was kind of a big fuck you to Dick Turpin, who was already kind of depressed at this point.
Dick sees him and is like, oh, he's going to pay my bill. He's going to help me out of here. And he goes, no, I'm getting your reward, you son of a bitch.
So Dick was tried in court, and when he was questioned, he basically denied that he knew the guys who he stole the horses from. He denied that he even knew Smith. He said, I don't know who the fuck that guy was.
Tell me, did he deny the chicken?
Didn't come up. They had larger things going on.
It's because he knew.
He claimed that he had bought the horses from a dude near an inn, behind the inn, with a big hood over his face. I'm like, hey, you want to buy some horses? God. So that's what he claimed and kept repeating throughout the entire trial.
Which probably sounded believable at the time, too. Now that just sounds like a bullshit story. But back then they were like, there's a possibility to this.
Yeah, except that he was found guilty before he even left the courtroom for the deliberation.
I'm sure they expected him to be guilty before he even entered the courtroom.
Oh, yeah, duh. It's the 1700s England. Yeah. They know who's guilty.
They didn't have bias back then.
No, not at all. And they definitely didn't have any incentive to try somebody who committed horrible crimes.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Didn't justify their paycheck. All right, so up to his execution, he bought a brand new outfit, and he constantly had visitors to his cell. In fact, the people in the prison would sell drinks to the visitors and stuff like that.
What?
They made over $100 at the time.
What the hell?
Selling drinks to all of his visitors. It's not documented who came, but it's expected that his wife probably showed up. He had a kid. All of his highwaymen friends probably showed up.
Jesus.
Because that was like a thing, like walking into a prison while being wanted, because it's not like like they take pictures.
Yeah, what do they have? Like facial recognition software?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah.
So up to the death, he was just busy. And on the day of his execution, he hired 5 mourners to follow him to the gallows. Because that would be a thing. You just pay people to mourn for you. Because his family didn't show up. His friends didn't show up.
Honestly, you can do the same thing today.
You can. It's great.
That's how we should start making money.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Let's nix the podcast. And
Yeah. Pressure points, mourners.
We just got to learn how to fake cry. We'd be set.
Yeah, I can figure that out, I'm sure. Punch me in the stomach once, gently.
No, I got a flintlock. Let me smack the shit out of you.
Thanks. Pull down my pants.
What?
What? Oh, let's see, where was I?
Smack that little tuckus.
My tuckus. He, with all the help that he had and all the friends and visitors that he had, he denied help from any of the local clergymen who were like, hey, you can still be saved or whatever. He was like, no, fuck you. Fuck you guys. Yeah, I'm just partying now.
Oh, God.
So he climbs up the ladder, or as he's like marched out in front of the crowd, he's bowing to
God.
the witnesses. He's like talking to people, shaking hands.
It's probably a mixture of like cheers and boos from the crowd.
No, they loved it.
They loved it
up.
Oh, okay.
He was reviewed very favorably afterward because there were reviews. I don't know why.
Loved that dick.
Oh yeah, who doesn't? So he, at the time, a lot of times the executioner was just another prisoner who, I'm going to give you the offer, you prisoner, if you execute 10 people, we're going to forgive you. So he climbs up the ladder in his brand new frilly outfit, and he talks to the executioner, who's another horse thief who he actually knew. We don't know what he said, but I assume it was something like, hey bro, I know this isn't on you. And the executioner puts the noose around his neck, and he, on his own accord, jumps off.
Oh.
And hangs himself.
He just went for it.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah. And this was a short hanging.
Man, the ball's on Dick.
Oh, yeah. The ball's on Dick. Ball's in your court, Dick. But it was the short hanging method, so you don't fall enough that it'll crack your neck. It's the suffocation kind of hanging.
Oh, I'm sure that the executioner was pissed. He's like, man, come on.
That was my job. This one doesn't count.
It's like, don't take this away from me, you dick.
I enjoy this.
God,
you got to enjoy your work.
What an asshole, yeah.
All right. So it takes him, he basically sat there swinging for 5 minutes before he died.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Wonderful.
I feel like that suffocation method would be not nearly as effective if you were trying to hang like David Blaine. Because that guy can hold his breath for
I was going to say he would just disappear off the rope in a cloud of doves.
Oh. But yeah.
So he was brought to a nearby tavern and left on a table overnight. That's where they stored the body. And then he was buried the next day. But a story doesn't end there.
Oh.
That evening, hours after he was buried, his corpse was stolen.
What? No.
It was during a really widespread time when people would steal the corpses, skin them, and then sell the skeletons or the body parts to the universities.
Okay,
you get $5,000 a skeleton.
Exactly what they did, back in the 2000s when people would scour bodies and sell the bits and pieces.
Exactly.
If you're intrigued, check out our series Chop Shop Body Swap.
There we go.
Season
we did
2,
it.
Episode 5 and 6.
We did it, boys.
A 2-part Pressure Point series.
It is one of the better series that we did. Like it's phenomenal.
Thank you.
You
so
did
much.
A great job.
Even though I completely butchered every time I said Reuters in there, and I said Reuters.
Reuters.
Fuck it.
That's fine. You learned, you lived,
you live and
loved.
learn. So, Dick gets stolen.
It is not, at that time, it was not publicly acceptable to do that. So an angry mob formed in the town.
I don't think it's ever really been publicly acceptable.
But like there were varying levels, like
of stealing bodies.
Yeah, of how it was viewed in the public. Because sometimes it was like, yeah, I understand it. Like they need that for education.
Oh, okay. I see.
I'm not for it. I don't condone it, but whatever.
Okay.
And let's form a mob. So they formed a mob.
Oh,
Kicked the shit out of the corpse stealers, and then reburied him.
Had he been, like, cut up?
Nope,
Butchered?
not yet.
Was Dick butchered?
Dick was a little butchered,
Oh,
probably.
okay. All right. Come full circle.
They are also not 100% sure which... he was stripped of all valuables and clothing. So were the other corpses they found him with. And because they didn't have pictures, they weren't quite sure which one was which. Oh. So they just randomly assigned them to the graves that they were originally buried in. So it's only suspected that that's where his grave is.
This is why we have ghost stories.
Oh, yeah. It's the only reason, really. Oh, let's see. And so immediately after his death, he was immortalized by a shitload of books and biographies that were...
And fangirls, they always are.
Yeah, and that were written about him. Except they were mostly just completely made up because, books weren't super common, but there were newspapers.
They didn't have fact-checking back then?
There were... Basically, the authors would romanticize the highwayman type... I don't know the term, I forgot.
Jesse James, bad boys.
Yeah, they kind of romanticized the criminal lifestyle, leaving out the rapes and beatings.
This is
and murder.
Why girls don't like nice guys. Fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
God.
And so he was a really likable character with a really positive, like, criminal career. People viewed him as like a Robin Hood type character, even though he was not at all.
Yeah, except for that farmer. He knew the real truth.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that guy. Trust me.
Fucking
I remember.
asshole.
And I would not tell him ever again. Wasn't worth it.
Never. Yeah, but because the public was extremely gullible, they believed it, unlike today.
Yeah, yeah. No, they've learned from their past mistakes.
They've learned. We as
General
people
public
have learned that you can't trust what you read.
They've come around, right?
Right, guys?
Wrong. Meh.
Meh.
We need the Family Feud wrong answer.
I'm sure we have a knockoff of the Family Feud.
I'm not going to go into that. No, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, so I've never looked into, like, the crimes of 1700s England before, but they were pretty brutal.
Yeah, I'm sure. Jesus.
Lots of horse robbery.
Oh.
Lots of sending people to the colonies. They call it the 13 colonies.
Back in my day, it was the 13 colonies. Oh, Lord.
So that's the story of
fucking
Dick Butcher.
Butcher Dick.
Richard Rich Dick Turpin. Tyne.
Goodness gracious, man. I'm still struggling. I can't get over that farmer.
Right?
Man. That like, shit is just brutal.
I found a bunch of different stories of how, like, different robberies went down and things like that. It's the only one I left in.
The worst one.
Yeah. Like,
oh, God.
It was just so
extreme.
Why? Why would they do that? Like,
they didn't give a fuck, man.
Oh, there was another one.
They thought they were invincible.
It was a mother and her son, a young boy. Well, no, he wasn't super young. He was probably like 12 or something.
Still young.
They tied her up and tied him up, and they were in the same room. They were like pulling her around the room by her hair and threatening to basically do worse stuff than the farmer. Mm-hmm. But in the same vein, like beating.
Yeah.
I'll light your hair on fire, bitch, kind of thing.
Christ.
And she refused to tell them where all the money is.
Dude, what the fuck, man? Like, everybody was so resilient back then. Good. I mean,
they didn't have any money.
I know, like, but even then, it's just, if you don't have any money, then tell them to take the 3 pence that's sitting in your
well, they actually
floorboards. So
I'm pretty sure with that one, they went away with more money than the farmer.
Oh.
Because they then went to the son and said, we're going to do these things to your mother. And he said, here's the money.
But even then, man, like, somebody starts pulling on my hair.
I either coom.
Yeah, it's either I'm finishing off or I'm telling them where the money is. Also, if you hear this and you're a criminal, please don't come hurt us.
Please don't hurt me.
Please don't.
I don't have anything.
We don't have anybody.
I'm only in debt.
Oh God, I'm already tense. I'll tell you where the money is, please.
Please.
I'm already scared.
It's under my mattress.
Goodness gracious, man.
But yeah, I just figured I wanted to cover. I feel like the subtext to this podcast could be assholes from history.
This is true, yeah.
That's the majority of what it is.
Good on him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not good on
No,
him.
not at all. He did horrible things.
Yeah.
He probably raped people, too.
Well, I'm not surprised. Nothing's really changed there.
Oh, yeah.
Good old history.
Good old Dick.
Not too shabby, sir.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Episode 2, you know. Thank you all for tuning in.
We're back, baby.
We're back in full swing.
Yeah.
You got any teasers for
Any teasers
next week,
for next
maybe?
week? This guy, not a criminal.
Whoa!
A bona fide badass. I am not fucking kidding.
Is he...
I'm not going to say anything.
Could he
Nope.
be
Don't
considered
you
a
spoil
criminal?
anything. No.
If what he did happen 10 years later or 10 years earlier?
I would say no.
No?
Oh, wait, yeah. I mean,
no, he definitely would.
If it wasn't going on during the war, yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
That's what I'm saying. He's a
like,
murderer.
Yeah. But
I think.
He's not considered one because of the war. But it's good. Get ready for
yeah.
it.
This one's great. It took me... He's been telling me about it for, a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And I only just barely figured out that I actually know who it was.
I'm over here like, ooh, I got all these great things. I don't want to spoil anything. And then I mentioned I had one name, and AJ goes, "Oh yeah, I know who that is." Like,
I know his entire career.
Really? All right. Well, catch
yeah.
us next week for some good storytelling. It's gonna get good.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Best of the season so far. No offense.
You know what? As of right now, this is the best of the season so far.
I don't know. It is. All right. Well, huge shout out to our patron subscribers. Todd Waddles, Casey McFacey, Haley, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, Swear It's Not Me.
It's not him.
And Nordic Thunder. Thank you guys. If you are intrigued and would like to hear our little sloppy seconds exclusives?
Exclusive podcast?
Couple episodes a week sometimes. We won't post anything. We're just lazy as fuck, but
it's just extra episodes. If you like us,
some more casual behind the scenes. kind of shit.
Usually not. We usually go in with an idea of what we're going to talk about, and then we just talk much
like right now.
Yeah, we just talk.
So if you want some more of that, find us on Patreon. Follow the links in our bios at Points O Pressure on the Instagram and Los Twitteros, and we will catch you fuckers next week. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
I really hope it is that day.
It is.
Oh, okay, good.